In April of 1945, we find Task Force Vanguard hidden in a train on their way to Hamburg, Germany. The unit includes their leader, Arthur Kingsley, his second-in-command, Richard Webb, Polina Petrova, Wade Jackson, Lucas Rigg, and Milos Novak. As the task force clears the German troops from the train, it becomes apparent that not everyone on the team knows the exact purpose of the mission. As Lucas demands answer, Arthur tells him that they were handpicked to uncover a Nazi project named Project Phoenix. However, no one knows what the project is. When Polina asks why a regular army wasn't sent, Arthur explains that the mission required a special task force. Sometime later, the team arrives at the base where the documents of Project Phoenix are supposedly located. They fight through the Nazi forces and reach the main office. However, it's empty, and so the team come up with a new plan.
Phoenix, we must be close.
Not for long. Krauts are moving their stash onto a sub. You see that lot lugging that chest? I bet you London to a brick that is what we're after.
So what are we waiting for?
Time to bring the heavy stuff.
Now we're talking.
Wait. We can't go in loud.
Arthur?
Whatever's in those papers is the best kept secret in the Third Reich. And the crowd's kept them here, in the arse end of nowhere.
So what?
It makes no sense. It's like leaving the crown jewels on the front porch.
With hardly anyone watching them. The entire German army should be guarding this place.
We're not the only ones who don't know what Phoenix is.
You're saying Nazis are keeping secrets from Nazis?
I'm saying the ones in charge of the secrets are the most dangerous.
Yeah, that's why we brought the guns. To shoot them.
Are we done here? Those papers are about to piss off out of Germany.
You three, take the catwalk and make your bloody noise. Buy us time. Webb, Novak, you're with me. We'll take the boat.
Let's go.
As Arthur and Novak infiltrate the submarine, they find a locked box that contains the Phoenix documents. However, before they can escape, they are captured by Nazi forces.
Wade.
An Ivan. Rectangulus. Australia. And also you.
Get on with it.
How delightful. You think you're British?
A Cambridge man, through and through.
So, you know better than to ruin a man's evening. Beethoven's Fourth Sonata has exquisite but demanding passages that deserve my full attention. Unlike you. Does the Negro give orders in English too? And do you follow them?
Sie wissen, wie es ist, von einem Schwarzen Befehle entgegenzunehmen.
Spricht auch Deutsch! Please, proceed.
Your Rhineland accent. You must be from Neustadt. During the occupation, you saw French soldiers who look like me carry guns in your streets. Marry your women. That's what I hear when you speak German.
Charming.
We thrashed you once. Hear those bombs? That's us, thrashing you again.
Thrashing. Thrashing. What an interesting choice of words.
I told you already. Get on with it.
Yes. That's what you want. To sacrifice yourself. To be a leader. I am not here to give you what you want. Quite the contrary.
You give your mountains What you say must be done!
Dispose of it. Put the rest in the truck.
With Novak dead and the team captured, minus Wade, Arthur, Richard, Lucas, and Paulina are placed in a Nazi truck. Here the team argue amongst themselves.
This is on him. And on Wade. That bastard abandoning his team.
Well, you're right about Wade. If he shows his face again, I'll bloody kill him myself.
Oh yes, let's keep blaming each other instead of the Germans.
Nasze ego si po nie postradamo.
Is that supposed to impress me?
Relax.
It does not matter. Freisinger is going to kill us all.
Freisinger?
The Nazi. The one who killed Novak.
Old friend of yours, is he?
We have history.
Oh yeah? What kind
Forget
of...
Freisinger!
And sometime later, the team arrive at a Nazi headquarters in Berlin. We must now travel back to the early 40s, where we will begin to tell the tale of each one of our protagonists and their history with the Nazis and why they were the perfect candidates for Task Force Vanguard. And before we begin this portion of the video, I have to state this. The game breaks down these cutscenes and flashbacks as the story goes on, mixing it with the past and the present. And so to avoid confusion, I will tell the stories in a chronological order until we make it back to present day of April 1945. We begin with Lucas in August of 1941 as he was stationed at Tobruk, Libya, as part of the Australian-led Rats of Tobruk. After a failed ambush attempt on the Royal Italian Army and African Corps, Riggs is assigned to uncover supplies for the British Army, alongside fellow Rat Private Desmond Des Wilmot and British Lieutenant Robert Jacobs. Riggs, Des, and Jacobs manage to find intelligence relating to a General Erwin Rommel. Here the Rats destroy a German depot, but rather than get any praise or recognition for their work, they are detained by Major Henry Hams for insubordination. And a few months later, now in 1942, during the Battle of El Alamein, Riggs and the Rats are ordered by Hams to form a defensive line. However, the Rats disagree as they believe they will be overwhelmed. This leads to Lucas and Des attempting to take the hill alone and call in a bomber support team.
Des, fire the flare! I didn't expect today to end like this. Ah, fuck it, why not? Let's do this! As usual, I'll do all the work. Yep. We're going out. Let's take as many of these bastards as we can.
Two of them succeed, but Des is killed in action. And once again, Major Hams disregards the Rats' efforts in the fight, which leads to a confrontation between Lucas and the Major.
The rigid hierarchy of Allied command would look at Lucas and see only character flaws. Insubordinate, churlish, no stranger to a prison cell. He was perfect for my team. Even if he does have a mean right hook.
A few months later, in June 1942, we find U.S. Navy pilot Lieutenant Wade Jackson, as he takes part in the Battle of Midway alongside his tail gunner Mateo Hernandez. Here Wade shows some of his recklessness and even selfishness, although he feels as he does no wrong if he succeeds in his goal.
Almost! Now, Jackson!
However, his luck would seemingly run out in November of 1943 while assaulting the Japanese army in Bougainville. Jackson and Hernandez's plane is shot down, and eventually the two are captured by Japanese forces. They now appear to be facing death. However, they are rescued by the 93rd Infantry Division.
You know how to use a gun?
Went through basic just like you.
Sarge, you got company! I got control of the stick now, Lieutenant. You're just along for the ride.
And while on the ground with the 93rd, Wade learns what sacrifice really means, as members of the 93rd give their lives as they attempt to push the Japanese back. And as the fight continues, the 93rd assists Wade and Hernandez in acquiring a Japanese dive bomber plane. This way, Wade could put to use his expertise and help the 93rd reclaim the island from the Japanese.
The men of the 93rd changed Wade. They showed the flying daredevil from the clouds what war looked like in the dirt. Down there, he learned the only way to win was to have each other's backs. If you get past his talk and you see his actions, you will know who Wade Jackson really is.
Later that year, in August of 1942, we find Polina, who at the time was a Red Army medic. She lived with her father, a war hero, and her brother Misha. What started off as a normal day turned into absolute terror when the German Air Force invaded Stalingrad. Polina would be outside reporting for work, and she would immediately have to rush back home to her father. Polina saw the chaos and evil that the Nazis brought, executing everyone in sight. As she made it back to her home, her father and others would be taken by the Nazi, and she would attempt to save him, but her father would suffer a mortal wound.
Pasha. Nightingale. I should have been here, Pasha. You take care of each other. Tell Mom I'm off to save Misha. As usual.
Polina finds and rescues her brother Misha and several Soviets nearby. She escorts them to safety, and she begins a merciless hunt for those responsible for her father and people's death. Polina would be so vicious in her approach that she would become known as the famed Lady Nightingale, as she pursued Leo Steiner, the Nazi commander responsible for the invasion of Stalingrad. By January of 1943, Polina and Misha attempted to assassinate Steiner in Stalingrad, but Misha would be wounded and Polina would attempt to escort him to safety. However, it would prove useless, and Misha would sacrifice himself to buy Polina time to escape. But Polina wouldn't let her brother's sacrifice be in vain, and she would find Steiner and finally kill him.
It's Idioto! Fascistkaya! Свинья! All you've left me is this knife.
I could help you.
Incredible. You're all the same. I've killed more of you than I can count. And you all spout the same pathetic bullshit. Freisinger. Is he supposed to scare me? Another piece of fascist filth. Don't worry. I'll hunt him down next. You thought you'd take my city and crush my people. You tried to break me, but you failed. You created Lady Nightingale. And now, she's destroyed you.
The infamous Lady Nightingale brought Stalingrad back from the brink. Her actions inspired the Russians to take back their city and go on the offensive. Polina changed the course of the war for the Allies and her people. With that reputation, it was only a matter of time before we found her.
A year later, as the war was reaching its conclusion, in 1944, the British launched Operation Tonga. Here, Arthur and Richard would be a part of the same unit. As Arthur jumped out of the plane, his parachute would catch fire, and he would land in the battle zone without his rifle. He would quietly make his way through the battlefield in search of his team.
Thunder!
Letzte Welle! Gib! Ungeschütztes Ziel! Scheiße! Runter!
Eventually, he would find Richard and a few other British paratroopers. They would have a small argument about who should lead the team now, as their captain was killed. Arthur would take lead and help destroy a German depot and other German bridges. This would be a massive assist for the D-Day invasion carried out by the Allies. And after this, Arthur and Richard would become great friends, and Richard would be Arthur's right-hand man. Here, Arthur learned what it meant to be a true leader. Now, with all this out of the way, we return back to present day in April of 1945.
By a German army since Allied troops stormed the shores of Europe. The Führer asked the German people.
I've read the field report twice. This Allied team is fascinating. They have been captured.
But it was too close.
I want you to find out everything you can about this unit. It will be my pleasure, sir. You will speak of this to no one else, and report directly to me. Heil Hitler.
Right it is, everyone. This prison is now a battlefield.
Wollen die Things nicht so langsam? Was glaubt ihr, wer die sind?
As the Vanguard task force has been captured, they are taken to a prison cell in Berlin. Hermann Freisinger appoints Nazi officer Janek Richter to interrogate the team. Janek starts his interrogation with Arthur.
In all my years studying the Allies, I have never come across such an unusual unit.
Kingsley. Arthur. Lieutenant. Service number 25232642.
I'll tell you a story. I have spoken with the Führer on exactly one occasion. He recommended a book to me, The Passing of the Great Race, by an American, a man named Madison Grant. The Führer had nothing but praise for him.
Fuck Madison Grant and everyone like him.
The book reveals that under extreme duress or unfavorable conditions, your people do not deteriorate so easily.
In that moment, I knew what I had to do. Right at the suprasternal notch, below the clavicle. Once we had what we needed from this racist bastard, that's where I would put my knife. My plan began to take shape. We were being held in the basement of Gestapo headquarters. Around and above us was a treasure trove of classified Nazi intelligence. Project Phoenix had to be there somewhere, and Richter was our ticket. He thought he was the interrogator. If he was to be of any use to us, he'd have to keep thinking that. That arrogant Nazi in his clean-pressed uniform loved the sound of his own voice. The hard part wouldn't be fooling Richter into spilling what he knew of Project Phoenix.
I would like to see for myself.
The hard part would be convincing the others not to kill him first.
And after he finishes his first interrogation, he reports back to Herman.
The Allies somehow knew about Project Phoenix. We must have a traitor amongst the officers. No. I pulled their files. Take care of them with the other non-essentials.
Lieutenant Kingsley mentioned a Project Phoenix. Likely Allied propaganda. The Negro thought he was protecting his team. No doubt to prove himself.
To make him their leader. The Allies must have been desperate.
He said it was their first mission, that his sixth man is dead.
He's probably lying.
I will uncover the truth.
Are there other teams like this one? How did they learn of Hamburg? Is Tempelhof at risk of being compromised? These are the things I need to know. There's more at stake here than I'm at liberty to discuss. Just know that I'm counting on you, Herr Richter.
I understand.
Arthur, back with his team, now informs them that the Nazis don't know about Wade evading them. Arthur told Janek that Wade died during the train assault. However, the rest of the team doesn't seem too convinced about Wade coming back to help. But Arthur read everybody's file, and so he trusts his men. The next one to be interrogated would be Polina. During the interrogation, Polina informed Janek that Herman had worked alongside Steiner. This was something that Janek knew nothing about, and so he called around to get information on who Steiner was and what his affiliation was with Hermann Freisinger. However, he would be interrupted by Herman himself, who told him that Wade, the remaining member of the Task Force Vanguard, was still alive.
I was just coming to see you. We have confirmation from the woman. The sixth ally is dead.
Is that so?
An American. arrested at Tempelhof. Trying to steal a plane. This makes no sense.
The prisoners made a fool of you, Richter. And now you have made a fool of me! The American is being brought here now. If I must interrogate him myself, then I have no use for you.
With Herman showing his disappointment, Janek would get his hands on Wade and interrogate him as soon as he arrived, this time taking his interrogation methods up a notch.
Try that again, crowd, and we're gonna have a real fucking problem.
Your team lied about you, Lieutenant.
Lieutenant? Now, is that so hard? Finally, some respect.
I know you as the sixth man. What did you want with that plane?
You Nazis. You make me miss fighting in the stinking Pacific.
I want to know what else they've lied about!
When Janek finished his interrogation, he took Wade into the prison cell with the others as things began to escalate.
Hey, guys. Don't everybody rush over at once. I'm fine.
Isn't this a nice little reunion? You lied to me.
For all we knew, he was dead. So you can fuck off.
Really? Do not lie to me again.
After this, Janek went back to report to Herman, but he noticed that things had changed.
Get away from it. Take your hands off me. Weisiger, this is treachery. It's treachery of the highest order. Weisiger! You haven't heard the last of this! Get your hands off me! Weisiger!
What is going on?
Hitler is dead.
What? How? Was it the Allies?
Reports indicate he took his own life.
But without the Führer, we are lost.
Hardly. I trust you have new information.
As you suspected, the American was the sixth man. But I believe I have finally broken them.
It saddens me to see the fatherland defiled by filthy rations, no less. There's nothing left for us here. If the Reich is to live on, I must know there's safe passage to Tempelhof. I was counting on you, Richter. But you've proven non-essential.
No! 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 Sir, no! I will get you what you require. I swear.
Your time is short.
I understand. Mein Führer.
With Herman's play for power now beginning to take shape and the death of Hitler, Janek returns once more to the group, this time fearing for his life, as he looks to gather any information that he can that will be useful in saving his own skin. This requires him to attempt a different approach with Polina. However, before the interrogation takes place, Wade informs the team that before being arrested, he borrowed a bomb from the Russians, who will storm the Nazi headquarters very soon, allowing them a chance to escape. However, the team, specifically Lucas and Polina, are hesitant on Wade's intel, as they don't fully trust him, and they don't even know if they'll live long enough to wait for the Russians.
We need a plan to get us out of here.
We're surrounded by Nazis. Even if we escape, we're gonna be dead before we reach the door.
Maybe not.
What an idea. We were going to put on a show for Richter. It was a gamble, but we'd come too far to give up on getting those files. Polina being next gave us time to get ready. We knew she'd hold her own.
When Janek begins his second interrogation with Polina, she reveals to him that Herman was recruiting people all the way back in 1943 for a special project, potentially Project Phoenix. Janek returns Polina to the prison cell, and here the team's plan to escape begins to take shape.
You can get me out alive?
What? I can.
You two-faced bastard.
Alright. I'll tell you what you want to know.
Typical Aussie. No honor, no loyalty.
Break this up.
I ain't gonna be the next sacrifice in your crusade, Tommy.
I hope your plan was worth it.
Break a leg, Lucas.
As Janek is escorting Lucas to the interrogation room, he finds a gruesome scene.
Your team's foolish, Jack.
You killing each other now, are ya?
Zurück! Zurück!
Janek appears to be clearly shaken by what Herman is doing, and he begins to question Lucas, who gives him the runaround. Eventually, though, with all the information gathered, Janek finally puts the pieces together.
This was never about winning the war. This was never about winning the war. This was a coup. This was a coup. Tempelhof. That's how he's getting them out. Taking the Reich underground.
Wait a minute. You're not part of the plan, are you?
Well, it looks like we're both going to end up on that meat pile back there.
One thing I learned studying Allied strategy: redundancy. Always have a plan B. With the Soviets invading the city, Lady Nightingale will be my leverage. I will exchange her for my own safe passage.
Well, that's one hell of a plan, Fritz. It probably would have worked. Fucking blade!
No, please. I will let you go.
You made one mistake, but it was a bloody ripper. You thought you cracked us. Redundancy, mate. always have a plan B.
With Janek captured by Lucas, he escorts him back to the prison. Meanwhile, Hermann Freitzinger becomes the Fourth Reich.
I've just received word. We have safe passage from Berlin. 3 years we have waited for this moment. Many good men were lost. Rommel, Steiner, Hitzel. But I promised you, Project Phoenix would succeed. Hitler has paid for his weakness. And now history will remember him as we do. A failure and a coward. The Red Army is nearly upon us. And Berlin is burning. But from the ashes shall rise our vision for something greater. To the Fourth Reich.
Once Janek is brought into the prison cell, Task Force Vanguard kills him.
Hey there, buddy. Remember me?
Looks like you got a fan.
What do we do with him?
I can think of a few things.
Figured you'd want the honors, boss.
No! No! This is your chance. Project Phoenix! I can get you the evidence!
Shh. You've already done your part. Right of the suprasternal notch, below the clavicle. That's for Richard.
Goodbye, little mouse.
After the death of Janek, the team began their chase of Hermann as they looked to put an end to his regime before it even takes off. The team battled their way through Berlin, finally working together and trusting one another. Eventually, they would corner Hermann and stop him from escaping.
It's over!
You cannot kill me.
And yet here we are.
And even the Allies would leave their decision to inferiors such as yourself.
We need him alive, boss. The intel he's got's what we came for.
Hey, shoot him or bring him. I'm starting this plane.
He'll never talk.
Get up!
The nations will make sure I'm well taken care of. As payment for my cooperation. A peaceful new beginning. A life of American luxury. Might suit me. Perhaps I might even start a new family.
Not for you. There is no starting over. This is your new beginning. Fascistkaya Svinya.
Do you even know who I am? The value I can provide?
You're not worth it.
Suppose that's it then.
Let's get out of here.
And after killing Herman, the team uncovered what Project Phoenix really meant and how it was just the beginning of what was to come.
Hey, we're back in business. That's it. Let's take a look. The Cape Verde Islands, the Bahamas, Argentina.
Even Antarctica.
Christ. These bastards have been plotting covert operations all over the world. Right under our noses.
Hey, you lot. Give this a gander.
Here we go!
We hit the bloody jackpot.
Come on, dig in.
How about this? Project Nova.
I can beat it. Project Ether. Reviving the dead.
Does anyone want some Nazi gold?
Looks like we're gonna be busy. Keep going. Open them all.
There you are. I was about to try this autopilot and come back. What's Project Aggregate?
Secret V2 rocket facility. You think you could fly one of those?
Ha! I can fly anything. Hang on back there!
Fucking wait.
Our mission was complete, but there'd be more. Forged in the fires, we were the tip of the spear. We were the Vanguard.